What up, people? What up, people? Welcome to Off the Stoop podcast. Welcome back for the most part. I know we've been gone for a minute. It's been a couple weeks, but we back. We back at it again. This episode is a real exclusive episode. I got my big bro, my big homie, Ronnie Bo on the line, man, and he definitely blessed me with this interview. It's a major blessing. Real talk. I want to first say I appreciate all of y'all that continue to watch this podcast, and just continue to show us love and support, man. It means a lot to us. So we gonna keep making this thing move. Hey Ronnie, what's going on, big bro?
Man, chilling, bro. I'm here to just let the public know what they need to know and support you as a brother.
Absolutely.
That's all, bro.
And I appreciate you, big dog, for sure. Hey, look, so I got a news brief I wanna dish out locally first for everybody in the area, man. First and foremost, the Washington Commanders, man. The football season is back. You know what I'm saying? Terry McLaurin, I guess that's how you pronounce his name. You know what I mean? It's officially staying. You know what I'm saying? He decided to stay home with the home team, which is a big thing for a lot of people. Me personally, I ain't a real big football fan, but for the ones that are, I think that's a real good look for y'all. I think it means a lot to the team, and I think he's going to be a great addition this year. Also, it's a new Wawa opening up in Dumfries, Virginia, man. They're set to open up Wednesday, the 3rd, actually, and they're actually giving away, a couple things. The first 100 customers will receive free T-shirts and free coffee. So y'all make sure y'all go check that Wawa out there in Dumfries, man. You know what I mean? I think it's a real good thing they brought that down here because we definitely needed something other than what they had out there. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna bring a good look to Dumfries, I feel like. So y'all go check that Wawa out. Also, as of mid-2025, right? So data has shown that drug overdoses and deaths actually has decreased in our area, primarily in the Prince William County area. The drug overdoses has took a toll down, which is a real good thing, but it is still a problem in our area. It was just actually a person that died on Prince William Parkway not too long ago, a couple days ago, from an overdose. So I send my condolences out to homie, you know what I'm saying, and his family or whatever. But we gotta do better, man, with this shit out here with this fentanyl, dogs. For the niggas that sell that shit, bro, y'all niggas ridiculous for that, for real. It's crazy to me, you know what I'm saying? Y'all seen what we went through with that crack era shit, and pretty much it's like the same thing all over again. You know what I mean? So don't have that shit around me. You know what I mean? Real talk. But it's went down. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing. But across the DMV, it still is an issue. So we gotta do better out there, folks. But let's get into this episode, man. So I got my big dog Ronnie Bo on the line, man. Bruh, I done seen a lot of your interviews, dog. And I think you're great at what you do. The content is great. Your story is amazing to me. That's why I reached out to you primarily. I see that you was born and raised in Milwaukee, right? Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, and I did I did my homework, right? I did some research, right? So it says Milwaukee, right, which has the highest crime rate in America, bro. Is that still true to this day?
Yeah, it's one particular zip code in particular, which is the 53206 zip code. You know what I'm saying? And that's happened to be where I'm from. I grew up on the Burlock Tender Ring, and that's the 53206 zip code.
Okay.
So, yeah, I grew up in the highest crime rate area in the United States. Probably, well, I ain't gonna say in the world because I think other countries have more crime, but
right.
Sure in the United States.
Right. Yeah, that's wild, bro. I looked at that the other day and I was like, wow. I had no clue that, to be honest with you. I know it's a lot of gang ties out there, though. I do know that much. I know it's real heavy on the gang shit out there. And I know that from years ago, just from the shit that I used to see on TV. But yeah, that shit is crazy that it's like that out there, bro. I also seen that you served time, bro, in the state and federal prison. Um, how was that shit, bro? Like doing. I know the state is kind of different, cause I've been in the state, you know what I'm saying, the state system, but the federal system out there, is it crazier than the state compared to the feds out that way?
Well, every state is different. The feds is the feds, so it's the United States
Right.
prison where they send anybody from any city and state. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the feds is about the same. You know what I mean? The state of Wisconsin, I mean, they got this is a slave state, so they got it sold up here. It ain't, it go down. People get hurt in prison, people get killed in prison here, but
Right.
it's not as common.
That's a slave state, bro. It's a slave state.
Yeah, I mean.
That's crazy. I didn't know that either. That's something that's new to me. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the state of Wisconsin emblem got a white man on there with a noose in his hand.
Oh wow. Wow. Yeah.
That's so that say a lot.
Yeah, it does. A whole lot. That says a whole lot.
Well, with regards, like I heard you mention the fentanyl pandemic, and not to
Yeah, bro.
take it, nobody who do that. You absolutely right about what you said, but the thing is, like, when you come from such conditions, like poverty,
Right.
And it's very impoverished, like temptation is crazy, bro. You got people who will probably normally, if they had other opportunities and grew up in a better household, in a better neighborhood,
Right.
who would have probably went a different route. But just based off my experience, like, I grew up in the crack pandemic.
Right.
And I started selling crack at 11 years old for school clothes and video games and stuff a kid will want. You know what I mean? But now, like you said, it's the fentanyl pandemic, and it's the same conditions. Most of the youth, they parents was either crackheads, perkheads, or something, so they not able to raise the youth properly, and then you look for opportunities to get some money, put some money in your pocket, and get the things you want and need.
Right.
And the streets, the first thing you think about,
Absolutely.
based on the environment, you seeing everybody else make all this money off fentanyl or whatever they selling, and then it's like, well, that's you think that's what you got to do. So just a message for the youth. Like, we seeing what's going on with Young Thug and Lil Durk and all these so-called street niggas or whatever, who really just entertainers. And the thing about that is that our youth look up to these type of people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if the culture is looking up to Young Thug as the biggest gangster, John Gotti, then that's who our youth gonna look up to. And then when we look at Young Thug history, they gonna think it's okay to put on skirts and get your fingernails painted and wear lipstick for attention, or maybe they really gay. I don't know, but I don't think that's the type of people that our youth should be looking up to. Even Lil Durk, like I happen to be a fan of Lil Durk. I'm not a fan of Young Thug and never was, because he was wearing skirts. But Young Thug, he was born and raised about an hour and a half where I'm from, so Chicago is like my second home. I got indicted in Chicago. That's where I call my Fed case at. So I understand their culture. Their culture is similar to Milwaukee culture, and seeing the circumstances that Dirk emerged from, I admire him myself, and I'm older than him.
Right.
But he a young man himself, and he misguided himself, and he did a lot of wrong, and I don't even think that you should be looking up to nobody like him, because like he put himself in the Young Thug situation with Gunna and started calling Gunna a rat. And me being through that same system and that same process, I know that Gunna was not a rat. If you trace back my interviews before everybody was on this new bandwagon calling Thug a rat, I was already saying that, Thug was not right, you know what I mean? And I was still supporting Gunna, you know what I mean? All he did was take a plea. And in most cases, that's not ratting. You just saying, okay, I don't think I can beat this, so I'm guilty and I'm gonna take this probation. That's not the same as ratting. But what Young Thug did was ratting. He actually did a 2-hour interview talking to the police. That alone could be considered ratting. And then he insinuated that this dude Pee Wee Roscoe shot up Lil Wayne tour bus, and the dude Pee Wee Roscoe did 10 years for that.
See, it's a thin line. I always thought to me it's a thin line when people say you ratting, bro. Like you gotta really, if it don't come with the paperwork, bro, I can't stamp it. You know what I'm saying? I have to see it. You know what I'm saying? I physically have to see that shit. But if it has paperwork and it's in black and white, and in this case it's video footage, then yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's a problem. You know what I mean? So I do agree with you on that one. I really haven't kept up with the whole Gunna and Thugger situation, but I do know that from what I've heard in the tabloids and in different places that I hear different things. People say Gunna did snitch. I mean, he did snitch. People say that. Then I hear people say that Gunna didn't snitch. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you see him out here holding it down for the team. So it's like, which one did he do? Did he snitch or didn't he? You know what I'm saying? It's a thin line though. So I agree with you on that. I definitely do.
My thing is, that situation is none of my business, but somebody who is considered a spokesman for the streets, you know what I mean? Like, I gotta give them, my input raw and uncut based on my experiences and what I know.
Right.
And I've been to the feds, and I've been snapped by very reliable sources. That's another thing. Anybody can snap you, but if they not snapped themselves, then it don't matter.
Right.
But in regards to that particular situation with Thug and them, bro, it's just like everybody was looking up to Young Thug as the John Gotti of the culture. He beat a Rico. He had all these bodies, and he got away with it. And that could be admirable. But now, 30%. The things that he did and said shows that he wasn't 100 himself. But my problem with that is that our youth look up to people like that.
Absolutely.
If they look up to people like that, then that's their guide. So they gonna be misguided.
Right.
And I don't want them to be misguided. I don't want them to have to learn the hard way.
Me neither.
Like I had to learn the hard way.
Right. And I got kids, bro. I got kids. I got a son. You know what I'm saying? I got daughters. So you absolutely correct. You know what I mean? I know exactly what you mean when you say that, bro. Look, so I also did some research, right? Again, I did my homework on you, bro. So, and I admire you, dog. I'm not even gonna hold you. I admire you, bro, because you took the time out to write a few books, man. So I want you to tell the people about your books, bro. I know for one book that I did have the time to read, the joint, what's it called? The Value of the Vagina, bro. So that's an interesting book to me. What made you even pick that title, The Value of the Vagina?
Well, that particular book, that was my second book, and I had just finished my first book and put it out, which was called The Trap Scriptures.
Right.
That particular book was like a message for the streets. Like, I really don't want people who come from the streets to have to learn the hard way like I did. So I give them the game and let them know, like, this ain't what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So after I put that book out, I felt like I left out the females from the culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They needed a message of wisdom, a message from God. They self from somebody who they could relate to. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be a pastor and have a church of 10,000 people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Those 10,000 people may only be able to relate to this certain pastor because they familiarize things with him.
Right.
But in our culture, like, a lot of these young females who like sell their body and degrade themselves and think it's okay to get on social media and talk about how many, dudes they slept with and played out their money, they need a message too. And and I realized that even all the way back then, I think the value of the vagina, I think I put that out like 10 years ago.
Right.
And I seen the problem, and I wanted to provide a solution. So, I have females who, like, I don't even have no blood sisters, but I have females who see me as a brother, and I'm somebody who they can talk to. Most male figures in their life, all they want to do is have sex with them. They know they can come to me, and sex ain't on my mind. You got a problem, you got something you want to talk about it, you can talk to me about your boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to give you real advice. If I feel like he a real dude, you need to stick it out with him, I'm going to tell you that. If I feel like he a fraud and you need to, move on and find you somebody else, I'm going to tell you that too.
Right.
So I really just wanted to give them the game and the raw, because women are like very important, not just to our culture, but in life itself.
In general.
All life,
Absolutely.
all life comes from their womb.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so it's like if they not right mentally, then and the next generation, this generation, you know what I'm saying? They not gonna be right mentally either. You know what I mean? So we gotta like repair the females with broken hearts and distorted mindsets and get them right. And that's the only way that our culture, could be ever get back on the right path.
And I always said this too, bro. Like, cause being from that life, dog. A lot of people don't understand, bro. It's two sides of that lifestyle. People always glorify the good shit. They never glorify the bad shit. You know what I'm saying? They always sell one side of the game, bro. And that's what I fuck with you for, because you telling the good side, but you also told the bad side of the game. You know what I mean? And I do the same shit. A lot of the little youngers I talk to, or I may come across, I let them know, like, yeah, it's the glitz and glamour is there. It's all the way there. But the same token, that shit come with a price, bro. You know what I'm saying? It come with a heavy price. So if you willing to pay that price at the end of your glitz and glamour, dog, you do what you do. But eventually that shit catch up with you. You know what I mean? And a lot of these cats out here, they don't tell that side of the story, bro. They never do. It's only about the glitz and the glamour, bro. And that should be killing me, man. So I definitely agree with you when it comes to that, and for the female side of it, bro, I feel like a lot of the females don't get a lot of respect when it comes to the game. There's a lot of females that I know that's in the game, that was in the game, that did it better than some of these niggas out here. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, man. They don't get enough, say so when it comes to that, bro. And it's crazy to me. It always has been that way.
The game actually revolves around them, bro, because
it does. Absolutely.
Whether most men want to admit it or not, they females is the motivation and they the comfort. When you in these streets, you looking for a female who you can put it safe at her crib and trust. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I put these guns at your crib and I gotta be able to trust you. And they also are the motivation, because when you got a female who about something and wants something in life, you're not gonna feel comfortable as a man, like, settling for less, because she's not gonna settle for less.
Right.
So, she might have just dated a dude who got a Bentley and $100,000 chain on his neck. So now you feel like you gotta compete with it.
You gotta impress. Absolutely.
And that's how most men think. And even with the violence, bro, like, it be based on trying to impress these females. You know what I'm saying? You might be at the club and the female you like in some other dude's face, and you might do something fraudulent.
Right.
You trying to impress her and uphold your manhood and show you a bigger man or a bigger gangster than this dude. And, sometimes you play games with the wrong person, and that's when, people start getting shot, people start getting killed.
Absolutely.
And it be revolving around these females, though, bro.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
They always, females is what it is,
Yeah.
And I'm mad. Most men don't want to admit that.
They don't. They don't, bro. They don't. And it's crazy to me, man. It's crazy when you think about it. So look, right. So you was wrongfully arrested by some corrupt cops, bro. Is that something you want to talk about, or can you talk about that?
Yeah, man, we can talk about whatever, bro. I definitely was framed in a case by a corrupt DEA agent. They wasn't just the regular police, they was the feds. He was a special agent for the Drug Enforcement Administration, which is the DEA, which is the organization that go after the kingpins, the El Chapos, you know what I'm saying? Drug lords, you know, and they framed me in the case. You know, I really didn't do
what they said you did. Right.
And they was like harassing me and investigating me for 3 years. And then they was trying to get me to be an informant.
Wow.
You know, for the whole 3 years. Like every time they bothered me and stopped me, they'd be like, look, man, we know what you doing, who you connected to, and we don't even want you. You a small fry to us, you know what I'm saying? We want the person who you be on the phone with, you know, the person who you go see when you go to Chicago, we want them.
Right.
And, you know, with me having integrity, it ain't got nothing to do with trying to be a gangster or none of that goofy shit. It's just me as a man with integrity. I can't do nothing like that.
Right.
To this day, like, they would have to kill me to do something like that, because that's like, that's a way,
no-no.
that's a form of selling your soul, bro.
Yeah,
like,
it's a no-no.
Yeah, like, you know, when I went to the feds, I happened to be locked up with R. Kelly for a minute, right? And,
Right.
You know, people hear about selling your soul and stuff like that. There's things in that industry you can do to sell your soul, and it's also things you can do in these streets to sell your soul. And it's the same effect. Like, if you stand on principles and morals and values, and you know that it's not right to tell on nobody, and you do it, you just sold your soul. Because now you can't look yourself in the mirror no more. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Now you don't even feel right talking to God, because you know God even looking at you like, man, come on, you know what I mean? And in the industry, when you hear about people selling their soul, like, I had my experiences in that industry, but I never went as far, and a lot of famous people never went as far as R. Kelly. And for me to be locked up with that man for 21 months, and everybody in there knew and saw me having certain conversations with this man, like, my knowledge about that industry is on another level now.
So, bro, so let me ask you a question, right? When it comes to that, so do you? My first question to you is, do you? Because so my theory on that, right? Well, the way I think about when it comes to that shit, bro, I really believe that R. Kelly was blackballed, dog. I'm not even gonna hold you. I truly believe it. I don't know, but just in my heart, I believe he was blackballed. How do you feel about that?
No, I don't just believe it. Like, I know before I met him, I just believe it. But after talking to him and looking him in his eye, you know, and hearing his side of the story,
right.
Now I know for sure he was blacklisted. And, you know, a lot of people would look at R. Kelly as a pedo or whatever they want to call him, and that's cool, I understand. But the thing about it is, it's people who really are real pedophiles out
Absolutely, yeah.
And the thing about him is that he was in a position to where all females wanted to be around R. Kelly and have sex with him. The older females, younger females, and all that.
Right.
And I've been on tour before and did events, and I know how it is. Like, when you go to, like, I'm gonna come out there and kick it with you, you know?
Absolutely.
And if I'm still single at the time, I might ask you, like, bro,
point you in the right direction. Right.
Like where they at? You know what I mean?
Right.
And most of the time, like, thinking realistically, bro, like a 30-year-old female who got her life together is not gonna be so likely to have sex with you on the first date, even if you are Kelly, because they looking at it like, well, if I have sex with you now, then you gonna look at me like I'm an easy trap, man.
Right.
I don't want that. She might really want to be with you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's the young females, the 21s and 19s who won't be happy to just go on a first date without a second thought. You know what I mean? So he was not that it was okay, but that's all the man was really doing. He was partying. You know what I mean?
Right.
And sometimes it'd be females 25, sometimes it'd be females probably 19. You know, this case say it was females who was 17, and they say he married Aaliyah when she was 15, but me looking into it, a lot of that stuff is not true and accurate. You know what I mean?
Right.
And for another example, like let's use me for example. I'm not big as R. Kelly right now, but I just negotiated a book deal. I just set up a podcast tour, so now I'm gonna be
congratulations,
more
bro. Congratulations, bro. For real.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But now more in the spotlight, right? So now start to think about when the females who had sex with me 15 years ago or 10 years ago see that and they can't get in touch with me, and people start saying bad things about Ronnie Bo, they gonna be willing and more likely to jump on the bandwagon like, oh, he's famous now, he don't want to talk to me, so they likely to bring you down. And
bro, I just had a conversation with my wife about that, bro. I swear I did. You know, I told the same thing. I said, you know, you never know with this industry, things can come up. They can make up shit to where it be in a tabloid, you know, tabloids, and it's like, hey, he did this, he did that, but it necessarily might not be true. You know what I'm saying? But it happens. You're right, absolutely. It happens.
Yeah, and I done dealt with it before already. You know, like I got like baby mamas or females who wanted us to last and it didn't last, so now they hurt, they mad, they see me with other females, and they gonna say bad things about me, and if I get so big that the media, mainstream media and the government want to bring me down, and they put out a phone number and say, if you ever been abused by Ronnie Bo, or if he had sex with you when you was 17 or whatever,
they come, right.
Then come forward and speak up. You know, you gonna have females who don't even know me who gonna
it's gonna be on that. Yeah, it's a payday. It's a payday, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And not just that, bro. Like this attention shit, like this, people want to be seen now. People want to go viral.
Right.
Like they care about that more than money now, bro.
More than they sales, dog. More than they sales. Period. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That shit is crazy to me.
And they'll do the stupidest, degrading things for that attention. So why one day if somebody put a number out for me saying report Ronnie Bo, why wouldn't they do it? And that's what happened to R. Kelly. Like a lot of the females he didn't even know. And I'm not gonna say that he wasn't even I can't say that he wasn't messing with young females, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm not gonna say that they was underage because I really don't have no knowledge that he actually did that. I wasn't around the man to be able to speak on that, but I know, some of them females was like the public ones that he had 2 girlfriends that was still with him. They were 20 and 21.
Right.
So we can't say that he wasn't messing with younger females, but the thing is, like, not that it's okay, it's common. Me, I prefer to have a female around my age because what I'm on, like, I need somebody mature, you know what I mean?
Right, absolutely.
But when I have sex with a 20-year-old, 21-year-old, I'm gonna be honest. If I'm single and she, you know, she there mentally and we vibing, then I might. You know what I'm saying? Why not? You know what I mean? But that's not my target. I don't target young females. I'd rather have a female my age because she gonna be where I need her to be as far as, you know, well, hopefully, because a lot of these females my age, they doing worse than females who 19 and 20, you know what I mean? So that's a topic, but the expectations, like you can't expect no 19-year-old to have an 800 credit score and have properties and, just the...
They building. They building, bro. They building, you know what I'm saying? They steady building, yeah, absolutely. Hey, so you had a $10 million lawsuit out against these corrupt cops when you was going through that, or was it something else?
No, I did. I sued them before they even indicted me. Like that's why I said the whole indictment.
So you did sue them. You did sue them. You did sue them. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, for $10 million.
Right.
It's just like Tupac had a $10 million lawsuit and he settled for like $70,000 or something.
Right.
It's just like you don't want to even keep fighting, bro, at a certain point. You know what I mean? So I settled, but it wasn't a lot. You know what I'm saying? But the point that they even settled, it shows that they did wrong.
What they did, absolutely.
They not gonna settle if they didn't do wrong. They gonna
keep fighting.
they gonna find a way to get it dismissed, or they gonna take it to trial.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And they couldn't dismiss it because I had proof, I had facts. You know what I'm saying? I had documentation. They couldn't get around it. So it's like, well, would you take this? Would you take this? And eventually I got to the point where it's like, look, I'm fighting this by myself. No lawyer want to represent me. So okay, bet I'm gonna just take, you know, what I took. You know what I mean?
Oh, you had no lawyer? You had no lawyer or nothing, bro?
No, not on my lawsuit. That's another thing about the government, bro. These
That's
lawyers,
crazy.
they don't be want to go against these government officials. Like I sued a federal agent, a special agent, Timothy P. Gray, to be exact.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't be want to go against them because they either went to school with them or their fathers went to school with them, and they got to uphold the system.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So behind the scenes, you know, it's like this client got you on this. You know, they have talks. It's like me and you, bro. If me and you went to school together and you became a DEA special agent, I became a lawyer, and then, you know, you did somebody wrong and they tried to hire me, it's like, no, I ain't gonna go against bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the type of relationship these government officials have, and people like so ignorant to that. Like a lot of this stuff is based on relationships and who you know, and
yeah, they absolutely will swap you out. They definitely will swap you out. I know for certain they will swap you out, bro. They definitely will. Absolutely.
Just how we got fraternities that we call gangs, like the GDs, the Vice Lords, the Bloods and Crips. Like the fraternities, they got Ku Klux Klans and Masons and stuff like that, bro. So they stick together.
Right.
So
right.
I had to fight the case by myself because wasn't no lawyer willing to really fight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All the lawyers was saying, look, I don't think you want to play with them. I don't think you want to go against them. And it's like, no, I do. You know what I'm saying? And I adopt it. It's you don't want to go against them. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. That is ridiculous. Yeah, but so you've been through some shit, Holmes. I can honestly say that you've been through some shit between the corrupt cops and being wrongfully arrested and the $10 million lawsuit and all that, bro. That is some shit, dog. That whole R. Kelly thing, bro. So like I was saying before, I like you said, you know for certain that he was blackballed, man, and I truly believe he was too. And that was one of the reasons why I reached out to you, bro, because I felt like, you know, it was just wrong for how they was doing R. Kelly, bro. He's one of our legends, dog. You know what I mean? He's one of our legends. But you really see nowadays, man, they try to bring our black legends down, bro. And it's getting worse, it seems like. You know what I mean? And we making a fool of ourselves, bro. You know, it's making a fool of ourselves, dog. So it's just a continuous thing to me that I continuously see the shit happens every time that somebody either reaches a certain height or a certain way in a lifestyle. It's like they find a way to bring us down, bro. It never fails. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a pattern. You know, it happened to Mike Tyson. It happened to Tupac. It happened to Kobe Bryant. It happened to Michael Jackson.
Absolutely.
It's many other names. You know, some of the names just is not as big as the ones that I just mentioned.
Right.
And it happened to not just hundreds, but thousands of other black men who reach a certain status in life.
Yep.
You know, because as a black man in this country, under this government system, like you are perceived as a threat once you reach a certain peak in life. Like they have these expectations for you to where it's like you should live like this. You know, they still have slave master and slave owner mentality.
Absolutely.
So they look at it like, okay, if you're not benefiting one of the slave masters, one of the slave owners with what you're doing, then you a threat. And they don't want to see that. You know what I mean? They'll do anything to prevent that, and it shows. The names that I just named, just think about it. Like, come on, bro. Like Michael Jackson, they had the world looking at him as somebody who touched little boys, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, I seen that plenty of times. You're right.
It's the same guy though. When he get on the stage, you know, 1,000 white women might faint just to see him perform. You know what I mean? And
Right.
they don't trust me, bro. They don't want no black man to have that type of power and influence in the world, not just the United States, but in the world. Because once you do, you know, your influence can be worth more than money. You know, and
Yeah.
you can't name too many of them who could walk on the stage and people start faking. Like you could think of people like the Rothschilds, $1 trillion family. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't not one of them who could walk out on the stage and make people start screaming and faint, but they worth $1 trillion.
Right.
You pick this black man like R. Kelly from the streets of Chicago.
He could do it. He could do it.
You put him on the stage and he hit that note from his own vocal cords, and everybody starts screaming and fainting. It's like, wow, that's power. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
they don't got that power. You know, and I'm not being racist. I'm just being real.
You're being real. Absolutely.
They don't have that. They just don't have the sauce. They don't have that type of juice, bro. And they hate that. You know what I mean? But you know, God made people how He made people, and that's just what it is.
Absolutely, bro. It's yeah, man. We that's a whole other segment, a whole other episode we can talk about, and that can go on and on, bro. You know what I'm saying? That can go on and on, dog. They don't understand it, but we do. We get it, and we see it every day.
Now you see how these AI sites on here saying, I told them Jay-Z though, right?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I seen that. I seen that.
You the paperwork though when the FBI questioned me about when I got shot, and they were saying that Jay-Z and Associate had something to do with it.
Nah. Nah, you ain't seen the paperwork. What's up with that though?
Man, I'm gonna send you the paperwork now. I know we ain't got much time, but
so look, what is it about that situation, bro? Like, I don't get what some people so. What's up with that situation, dog? Number one, like, do you have a lawsuit out against them, or do they have a lawsuit out against you about anything, or is it something that's trying to get handled, or y'all trying to squash the beef, or what? Like, what is it?
see, I was still on Fed paper, right?
Right.
During the time that this happened, like I could be more vocal about it now because I'm off Fed paper, and there's not much they can do now.
Right.
But at the time, I took the risk. This was when I first went viral. You know, somebody in New York wanted me to come out there for an interview, and I went out there for an interview, and I get shot now because.
So hold on, time out. So hold on, let's rewind for a second. So you happen to just go out there, right, to do an interview, and you get shot. Just going out there to do an interview. You had you talked to anybody from the label or from?
See, I did something that I probably should.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like, I had, and I still got an issue with Jay-Z, and to be honest, I don't think he had nothing to do with me getting shot. I think the government has something to do with that, and I've been stating that the whole time.
Gotcha. Okay.
When I went out there, you know, the people who I was with felt like, man, we out here. You know, we ain't far from where Jay-Z grew up at. You know what I'm saying? Let's go visit Marcy Projects. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what we did. And like in that area is where the shooting took place. So, you know, they got back to authorities and they contacted me and they asked me about it. I denied the whole shooting because, for one, I was on federal paper and my PO didn't give me permission to go out there. Like, they was trying to hold me back. I'm showing them, like, look, man, people trying to book me in all these other cities and states for interviews. Y'all want me to work at McDonald's or be a slave somewhere else. When I'm showing y'all, I got all these opportunities lined up in LA, New York, Texas. Like,
right.
Let me spread my wings. Let me go get paid for doing this. Like, this can increase my book sales. You know, this was to them, but they didn't want to let me leave. So I went without their permission. So the thing is, how I admitted to being shot in New York, I would have went back to the feds just for getting shot.
Because you violated being out that way.
Absolutely.
Got you. Okay, got you.
I've been talking about it then. Like I'm willing to, go into more details about it now, of course, because they can't.
They can't do nothing. Right.
They can't even prove nothing. Anyway.
Right.
And I'm the victim. You know what I'm saying? They not saying that I shot somebody. They saying I got shot.
But you got shot. Right.
Yeah, so, but yeah, that's another story though, bro. I know we probably been out here for a while. I'm not trying to rush you up.
Oh nah, bro, you good, bro. You good. You good. We got about another what? Right about another what? 15 more minutes probably. 10-15 more minutes. So we Gucci, bro. We Gucci. About 10 more minutes. So besides that, right? So into that note, it did say you had a hit placed out on you, right? And I didn't know whether that was a situation that stemmed from that situation, but that's what what it said. Is that true?
Man, the only way for me to know if that's true is if I knew the people who had the hit.
Who placed the hit out? Right.
It's definitely been speculated.
Bro, how do you so I guess my question to you, bro, is how the hell do you deal with this type of shit, bro? Like, how do you even, you know what I'm saying? It's gotta be crazy, bro. That shit gotta be crazy, dog. To even move around and then you're not knowing what's really going on, or you trying to get to the bottom of it. That shit gotta be crazy, dog. It's gotta be crazy.
Man, it's God choose certain people for certain missions, bro, and
right.
After me being through everything that I've been through, maybe God felt like I'm built for this, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And, I had hits on me like that I knew for sure, 15 years ago in the streets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I understand the question, bro, because like mentally, that would
it'll do something to a person, bro.
It definitely do something to you mentally when like
right.
These people want to kill me. Like you don't feel safe taking your grandma to the grocery store. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because in normal situations, it's like I'm cool. I got this on me. I'm gonna react how I'm gonna react. But now I got my grandma with me, so now her life is danger.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it messed up my relationships back then more than anything because like I had a girlfriend back then who I really loved.
Right.
And she used to want to be with me all day, every day, and that's how we used to move. She used to be my road dog. She was with me all day, every day.